guys, so today I thought I'd do a versus of two relatively new products that center around berry repair and oat, and that is the Kiehls Ultrafacial Advanced Berry Repair Cream versus the Murad Daily Defense Colloidal Oatmeal Cream, which are both relatively new products. I will link to them both below. They're both in a more pricier category. So anyway, okay, so they say about the Kiehls, an intensive barrier cream that relieves dry skin, helps support the moisture barrier, and visibly reduces redness caused by dryness. Now we've got the Murad. They say colloidal oatmeal cream locks in critical moisture and lipids to strengthen skin from within while prolonging relief from eczema flare-ups and deeply hydrating. I'm just going to put one on one hand and one on the other hand right from the get-go so you can see the texture of it. So this is a little bit of the Kiehls, which is very thick. There we go. It's thick. It takes a little bit of time to smooth into skin, but it does feel really nice, and it is really thick. So there we go. It's kind of got a slight ointment texture, just a little bit. And then here's the Murad. Oh, the top of the jar is very dirty, but there we go. Here's a little bit of the Murad. This one's also pretty thick. Very nicely hydrating. Balm texture and smooths into skin really nicely. They're both very similar in terms of texture. That's what made me think to compare the two. And they're both great for healing damaged skin. Okay, so first criteria is packaging. I prefer the Kiehls. It uses a squeeze tube, which is nice for traveling. If you travel at all, this is a lot easier to bring with than this giant clunky thing. It's also a little bit easier to dispense. The Murad, I like the fact that they use an airless jar instead of just a regular jar. It's less convenient, and I will say this one, the product is so thick, sometimes the jar has a little bit of trouble dispensing the proper amount. So I will give the nod to Kiehls for this one. I just prefer the packaging of this just a little bit more than this. They're both great, but if you travel at all, even just to the cabin, this is going to be easier to travel with than a giant jar. Okay, in terms of fragrance, they're both fragrance-free, which is a tie. They're also both free from denatured drying types of alcohol, so that is another tie. They're both manufactured in the U.S., or actually, I believe this one's made in Korea, and this one's made in the U.S., which is no issues with either of that. In terms of the texture, so they're both very thick. The Kiehls has a thick balm-like texture. It takes some time to smooth it over skin and even longer for it to absorb. And once it absorbs, it sets to a nice finish that's non-sticky, and it's matte, kind of a matte finish, which is okay, which makes it a little bit ideal for daytime use as well. So it's probably a little bit better for a specific treatment area instead of all over the entire face, because it can end up making certain areas that are not as dry look kind of shiny. The Murad has a little bit of a thick texture. It can be a little bit challenging, again, to dispense because of the airless jar. A little with the Murad doesn't seem to go a very long way, but a little bit of effort smooths this over the skin really nicely. It does seem to be a little bit prone to pilling, and it sets to a slightly sticky finish that's matte. The Murad absorbs a little bit faster than the Kiehls, and both have a pretty similar finish, similar texture. I gave the point to Murad just because it seems to absorb a little bit quicker, and it seems to work better over the entire face, as opposed to Kiehls, which to me seems more like a targeted area type of product. You know what I mean? Like, they're just some products that you just don't want to use over your entire face, but certain areas really appreciate it. So I gave the point to Murad for that. So it's currently tied. Each has, I think, with the ties, 3 points. Okay, in terms of beneficial ingredients, so with the Kiehls, in order of abundance, we've got niacinamide, trehalose, vitamin E, hydrogenated lecithin, beta-glucan, adenosine, pseudo-altarmonious ferment extract, cyanchum artratum extract, colloidal oatmeal, and then salicylic acid. Salicylic acid, when it's at a lower place in ingredient list and at a proper pH, it functions as more of a soothing ingredient than an exfoliant. Most of you will think of it as an exfoliant, but functions more as a soothing in this product. So this one's got 10 exciting ingredients. In terms of the Murad, we've got shea butter, oat kernel, we've got Ophingonon japonicus root extract, which is a plant extract that has some antioxidant soothing properties. We've also got niacinamide, and then we've got hydrogenated lecithin, again, and then colloidal oatmeal. However, colloidal oatmeal is going to be in 1%, so that has 6 superstar ingredients. So in terms of ingredients, Kiehls wins that point. Although I will say the Murad appears to have more of the star ingredient, which is the oatmeal. Whereas in the Kiehls, it's the second to last ingredient. In this one, it's one of the higher up ingredients. So, anyway, okay. So, Kiehls is ahead, just by a little bit. In terms of acneogenic ingredients, so with the Kiehls, we've got cetearyl alcohol, vitamin E, hydrogenated polyisobutene, palmitic acid, carbomer, and sorbitol isostearate, which is 6. And a couple of them, palmitic acid and cetearyl alcohol particularly, are more acneogenic. In terms of the Murad, we've got glyceryl, stearate, cetearyl alcohol, and carbomer. So we've got 3. So Murad wins that point. They continue to be neck and neck in this, tied up. In terms of performance, they're both wonderful products. They really are. I'm glad I picked them both up. The Kiehls, it feels really nice on the skin, and it feels like it seals in all the other products, your serums, things you apply underneath it. It really does protect skin. It feels instantly hydrating. However, I will say I don't notice as much hydration in the morning. Like when I go to wash my face the next morning, there's a lot of products where I still feel that hydration and soothing on my skin. I didn't notice it so much with this one. The Murad, this one also feels instantly soothing the second I apply it. It helps with redness as well as exceptionally skin protecting. It leaves that long-lasting hydration feeling that I'm looking for. Maybe not everyone's looking for that. I need that. Both of these perform very nicely, but the Murad just seems to be a bit more beneficial for my skin issues, which are barrier repairing, dry skin, and redness. They're both wonderful, but Murad wins just by a little bit. It's very close. They're neck and neck. In terms of cruelty-free status, Kiehls is not cruelty-free. I don't know why I always, for some reason, think they are. I'm not sure, but they're not. The Murad is cruelty-free. This is a brand I always forget is cruelty-free. So, Murad is starting to break away. In terms of the price, so the Kiehls, they're both 50 milliliters, 1.7 ounces, same size, totally different packaging styles, but they're both the same amount of product. The Kiehls retails for $48, which is 96 cents a milliliter. The Murad retails at $54, which is $1.08 a milliliter. So Kiehls is a little bit more affordable. And you know what? Kiehls, typically you can find them on sale a little bit easier than a brand like Murad. Just because of Kiehls is sold so many places. Okay, in terms of the total, Kiehls got 5 points, including the tie, and Murad got 6. It was very close, neck and neck. They're both wonderful products. If you are looking for something cruelty-free, the Murad's the way to go. If that's not a big issue, the Kiehls is a little bit easier to travel with and has a little bit more exciting ingredient list. But they're both absolutely wonderful, and they both, my skin just absolutely loves them. So this one will probably get a lot of use. I'll probably finish this one up on my face. And this one, I'll finish up on my face, neck, and probably the backs of my hands, which get very dry and need a little bit of protection in the winter time. So, but they're both wonderful. They both have a very similar finish, similar texture, similar ingredients. So you really can't go wrong with either. They're both great products overall. So anyway, I know there's a lot of oatmeal products coming out, so I thought these were 2 new ones that I wanted to talk about. So anyway, interested in hearing from you guys if you had a chance to check either one of these out, or if you have a favorite oatmeal product that I didn't mention. What is it and what do you like about it? Love hearing from you guys, and stay tuned for more tomorrow. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.